Your Life in Sex Island, Chapter 5, Picking Up the Tab, page 133. Who pays how much tax on income, wealth, and purchases? We are now at the $100 million in our look at realistic people making $10,000 per year, $100,000, $1 million, $10 million, $100 million, and last, $1 billion. Emmanuel and Elizabeth made $100 million in 1 year. Emmanuel Earl Countcart is the 10th descendant of the founder of the Earl Countcart Powder Company. The founder, Effingham Bent Earl Countcart, was given a land grant from the French king in disputed English territory and money from various members of the French peerage to go to America and found a black powder manufacturing company so that France would have powder to defend itself against the peasants, and they also sent with him servants who knew how to make it, since he did not. Things went well for him. Ship owners, understandably, did not like shipping dangerous black powder across the wide Atlantic. He was able to purchase slaves to employ mining the nitrates. There was a ready market because there were many bears and Indians to kill. Everybody needed a musket and black powder. He used agents to make sure that his competitors had mysterious explosions. Mysterious explosions are expected in the manufacture of black powder. He soon had a wonderful monopoly. Whoever didn't blow up sold to him after considering the probabilities. Emmanuel did not use slaves to manufacture the black powder. It was too dangerous. He was happy to work his slaves to death, but he was certainly not going to blow up an investment. He used wage people, and then he did not lose investment when they blew up. Good luck reigned upon him. The American colonies began a stupid war against the English King George III, and Earl Countcart was able to sell at very dear prices to both sides. Then more good luck. The French Revolution took care of his backers and investors, and Effingham Bent became the sole owner of the Effingham Countcart Powder Company. He also had the good fortune to make black powder in a war-loving nation. There were perpetual wars and enemies strung over the years like pearls on a necklace, and Effingham Bent and his successors did everything to encourage the number and growth of these pearls. Wars are wonderful. No one talks about monopoly, gouging, excess profits, or warmongering if you are on the winning side and control the news sources. Effingham Bent had the good judgment to hire every very, very bright chemist that he could find. They came almost at slave wages because they had nowhere else to go. These young, bright, ambitious chemists pushed him into other products, and soon he had to change his name to the Earl Countcart Chemical Company, Incorporated. These foolish chemists hoped fruitlessly that they might be rewarded for discovering the base of a fortune. The rest is history. Back to the present. Emmanuel was raised by servants, was taught by servants, mothered and fathered by servants who manifested his every wish and anticipated and satisfied every latent desire. Servant mamas encouraged servant daughters to cooperate. The Earl Countcarts had a family history of taking good care of their bastards, either a large lump sum or sometimes continuous support, or rarely continuing interest. They would actually see their bastards. He bought his degree from one of the prestigious Eastern Ivy universities. At the proper time, he was married to Elizabeth Enchant Camelot, whose family controlled Compressol Petroleum Company. It seemed a good fit. Surprised, Emmanuel was hired by the Earl Countcart Chemical Company, Incorporated. He was put on the fast track and managed a laboratory here and a manufacturing plant there. The existing works manager remained on site and was given special assignments. In due time, when he was of a ripe age and his uncle died, he was elected CEO and took his seat on the board. He soon knew everything there was to know about life, wherein you never have to strain a muscle or a neuron, never have to pay a bill or a piper and never have to meet anyone who is not a peer or a servant. He knew that he owned everything that he could see. He knew that he could make no errors, that workers were thieves, lazy, violent, and stupid, and that everyone knew that he was brilliant, courageous, and shrewd. Every day of his life he had been given a $1,000 tax-free gift from a relative, friend, or a foundation. His net worth at 40 years was $5 billion. His income, with bonuses and stock options, was $100 million. Most of his expenses were corporate and were taken care of by the company. Mansions are always appraised for real estate taxes at a lower rate than a shanty. Did it bother him that no member of his family had ever put up $1 or un franc? No ancestor had ever invested 1 penny of capital in his multi-billion-dollar company that he now owned? Every cent of value in the Earl Count Chemical Company had come from the labor of his workers. Of course it didn't bother him any more than pygmies in Africa, slavery in America, or starvation in New York bothered him. Emmanuel and Elizabeth did what they pleased. There were over a dozen CPAs and corporate lawyers who structured everything. No agent in the IRS was so stupid as to challenge anything that Emmanuel and Elizabeth did. Emmanuel and Elizabeth had slept in the Lincoln bed in the White House. To challenge Emmanuel and Elizabeth was tantamount to challenging the United States. More than hell would descend upon anyone so foolish. They might as well walk into boiling quicksand. But even the CPAs had to list some expenses. Income, $100 million. Housing, $72,000. Food, $14,400. Transportation, $600. Clothes, $1,200. Utilities, $600. Furniture, $2,400. Other, little less than 10 grand. Medical, $0. Company paid for things. Income tax, $1,722,000. Investments, $96.5 million. Percent of income paid for income taxes, 1.7%. Percent of wealth paid, 0. Income remaining after expenses and taxes, $96.5 million. Wealth remaining after expenses and taxes, $5 billion plus. So Emmanuel and Elizabeth pay about 1.7% of their income in taxes of one kind or another. They are furious that they have to pay almost $2 million when they give so much to the United States. They provide hundreds of thousands of jobs, overpaid jobs, and they provide a bulwark for the defense of the United States of America against its enemies. It is so unfair that they have to pay taxes too. The taxes on their wealth are a vanishingly small percentage. Purchase the book now by clicking on the link in the description below.